Dark Game, Chapter 8. This happened during the come down of Chapter 7. Chapter 8 contains what happened to some of the role models, some of my rivals, people who I respected during the time where I was training. And during this time where I was training for chapter 4, while I was training for chapter 4, the guys, my rivals, had a plan to label me as a predator when I came to fix what I did at that con, which is fanbase. When I work hard for everything but that stupid thing that got me famous, they were plotting to take me down. So this guy, I would have to say, was one of my rivals, one of the toughest guys I ever met. When I was a kid, these people, the same people who made Road to El Dorado, gave me a DVD called The Adventures of Sinbad. Now, this was around the time where I was heavy on church, and I always remember this scene. This is exactly how I felt like when I fought this dude in a rap battle. You see, I was heavy on rap when I was a little kid, and I always listened to Eminem. I always wanted to be a great rapper. And what happened was, one of the people in the rap league I joined gave me a fight that I would never forget. And there was this one scene in Sinbad where he was talking to his girlfriend about a fight he had, a fight that lasted for days with his best friend. And he's like, boy, did we have a fight. And she was so interested. And it's like, funny enough, when I was on the come down back before I got famous, when we were still battle rapping, I told this one girl when I was smoking, we were sharing the blunt, and I was telling her about my battle and how I had personals towards the guy and how the guy won off points, but it was still a good match. And he still beat me, bar none, but it was a good ass conversation. It's just like, oh yeah, one of my friends does that too, you know? I'm like, oh my God, you know? It's crazy because what happened was this guy had one of the hardest times in the parallel timeline. You see, what happened was I met this girl at a concert, and she became one of my Instagram followers. Now, this girl is someone who I literally thought was just hella cool. You know, I didn't put too much emphasis on her, but you know, she knew me before I blew up and got famous. But you know what was crazy was my best friend who gave me the best fight literally got in contact with that girl. What happened was we were both off screen. We both had personal lives, but he decided to get with her. So they got together after. And so him and her had a really good relationship, and he was so fucking funny. He was the same dude that was cracking jokes in my rap league. And just imagine he was doing this to some girls I know, you know? And I'm like, man, they must be having such a great time. But you know what? Because I've grown and I matured, I didn't know who he was inside. I'm judging him off of one rap battle. And there was this thing about when me and him had a good fight, he exaggerated the fight saying that, oh, he beat me by a landslide, or really he barely beat me and it was the best battle. Even he admitted it, but he felt insecure. You see, what happened was, it's a funny background because I come from a battle rap state of mind. I come from a competitive state of mind, not just of mind by the rule book. He went by the rule book and he learned on his own, but during the process of training with other people, me, I trained by myself, and I surpassed myself every single time, and that was my writing process of how I came at him at the battle. You know, it was my debut, but I already had experience, and he felt like because I was a newbie, I shouldn't have got that close to beating him. And it tortured him because there was he really underestimated me, and I came with the fire, but because he had way more experience, he beat me by an edge. But I came at him with the mentality to win, and it pissed him off, because the reason why this is so important is because you would think that he was so fucking funny online that he would be able to entertain her, because this is a girl that I knew. Now, what happened was, me and this girl started coming up because I was already on the come up and she was already in my rotation, but I passed her to my dude and it destroyed him. The good thing about this is something that I wanted to happen. I wanted my dude to actually have a good relationship, as cheesy as that may seem, but that was crazy, because when she met him, he was a former shell of who he used to be checking. This guy was doing work in school, and I knew this guy personally. I knew what he was going on, and he knew the same shit about me. So, you know, fucking he couldn't hide, and she got to see his baggage after he graduated from college, and the shit that he didn't learn in college that I learned when I was being ghetto, which I wish I went back to college. This dude was going through non-stop torture because he faked it till he made it. That's why he felt so insecure. But this girl was so nice and so understanding. I'm like, if she likes me, she's definitely gonna like him. But it was the exact opposite, because he was going through non-stop torture. What happened was he made battle rap his thing, and that was his everything. Even though he went to and graduated from college, it wasn't much of a milestone. He realized that that wasn't shit. Because what happens is I started getting girls after girls after girls, and that was one of the girls in my rotation. And this dude faked it till he make it, he's still having trouble fucking and shit. So, but this girl, what happened was it pissed him off to a point where he started talking about our battle over and over again, started seeking validation from his girl. And it pissed me off, because it's like, yo, you're a musician, I'm a musician, she appreciates you just like I appreciate you. I don't know why you're so insecure. It's because he was a former shell. He can't do shit. Now he has a car, but he's a fucking nerd on the inside, and he has a deep voice, but he has none back to point. He has none to back it up, and it's kind of funny. So what happened was, C starts getting irritated with him, saying that you're living life through a guy I already know. A guy that, like, you know what was crazy about this is that I spared his life and I gave that to him. This is something I say about everything. When I say I spared your life, that means I literally spared your life in the metaphoric context. And to the point that you have to understand that this dude really disappointed me when I saw him in real life. I'm like, dude, this fucking sucks. This really fucking sucks, because not only are you a former shell, you're worse than you've ever fucking been. Like this, he started, you know, doing what I used to do when I was going through shit with my baby mama, you know, going through drama, bullshit, everything under the fucking sun. And that was really, really, really tough for me to understand that this guy wasn't all who I thought he was, and he disappointed me. But he is. It's just, I've said this in a former video, that you can't trust people for who they are now. Now, the second person who I want to touch upon, who was a former shell of who they used to be, this is a parallel timeline where I was struggling to keep a job. I was struggling to keep a job, but he was struggling to keep a relationship. It was so fucking funny, because this dude also, you know, helped me out, but he destroyed himself in the end, and I'm gonna tell you why. And this guy was my former trainer, as I stated in episode 1. This certain individual taught me the rules of how to survive, how to be cool, you know, everything I needed to learn. He wasn't my father, but he was a guy who was the same level as me, but he had something that could help me out, you know? So he gave me some tricks and turns that really helped me out in life that I would never get before, you know? So, but what happened was, this dude was everything I was and more. The greatest part about this chapter is, while I was on the come up, everybody was on the come down for my huge success. And that's why they were planning to take me down in chapter 4. when that happened, but before then, this dude really taught me like, yo, what you're going through ain't shit. You are generic, you know, and you gotta be way more creative with everything you're doing, you know. He told me to step it up 100%. So this guy, you know, he had social proof. He had everything that I had. Even though he was poor, he had a lady, you know. It's like, you not having a car is no excuse for you not to have a lady. This dude was the same age as I am right now, and he had a lady, and he had a fine lady at that. And yeah, you know, so me and him were in the same situation. We were both struggling, and he was doing what he could do, you know. He taught me, yo, it ain't shit, you know. And that's the thing about, you know, life. And these people who I influence don't know anything about that. And I'm like, dude, you think that I'm cool because I'm just because I just so happen like to like rap and anime? This guy likes hip-hop, he likes anime, and he has girls, and he has everything. It's like, it is possible. So this guy starts kicking it with some other girls that I knew, and these girls specifically think that they can run up on me. Okay, so here's what happened. These girls were trying to get some information on me to see if I could, you know, keep a girlfriend, you know. This had nothing to do with him personally, but I happen to know him. So basically, there was this thing where she views me as someone she can control, but she could not control me because I have a backbone. And this guy, because we're not on the same level, she feels like, I'll put it like this: he was better at rapping, he was better at dancing, and he happened to like anime just like me. So they used him as an example to what we could be, and you're making excuses for yourself when they know the full story. You see, these specific girls are the same girls who spy on me. I'm like, you're spying on me, you might as well fuck me. They were spying on me, and they were literally obsessed, and they used him to get to know me, and they fucked him over. And I'm all like, yo, these guys are complaining that women are so fucking bad, where his girlfriend was hella fucking cool. And see, literally, his girlfriend was hella funny. But when it came to the time, what he thought I was a square. He thought that I couldn't get women like that, and he thought because they were approaching him that I don't know what to do with them. It's because I know what to do with them is the reason why, you know, me and him kind of had like a little problem, but it wasn't a problem. It was just like, yo, I know what's going on. So I called this girl out on, why are you kicking it with my dude? And he's all like, and, you know, so this girl was all like, I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, what happened was, they all planned and plotted to scheme me down, and they left him with nothing. And that's why he ended up becoming a formal shell, because even if he got those specific girls, he knows I can get another one. And he thought that I wasn't the same person I was back then, when the same person I was back then really let him know what's up, because I was a square, but I'm not a square. And he didn't know why sometimes I felt like I was really, you know, a gangster when I wasn't, and sometimes when I'm a square when I'm not. The thing is, you know, I learned that shit wasn't none, and I stayed out of trouble. And this guy, you know, he stays out of trouble too, but they kind of causing trouble. He stays out of trouble, but he really, you know, they really fucked him over. You know why? Because I don't fuck with them personally. Okay, so this is what the video is all about. This is what this chapter of Dark Game is all about. This is really where this heats up, because that guy was known for having a girlfriend, and because my other friend was cool, those are the two examples I tried to tell this batch of new people who tried to, you know, do the same thing that I did. I went to the same con, and those people tried too hard to fit in, tried to do the shit I used to do. I'm like, dude, I earned that shit because I put in the work. And they don't understand how I can get away with doing this to a woman when I've already established that we're about to have sex. Well, I know why I can grab a girl's ass and get away with it? Because I'm a father, that's why. But no, what happened was I went to something that I already surpassed when I was in junior high and possibly high school. Because when I went to this convention the second time and they failed to label me as a predator, is because I already established shit with these women, you know, in general, not just sex. They already knew who I was personally as a character, as an individual, and that's why they stood up for me. When they tried to label me that shit, they're like, oh no, this happened last year and we all let him do it because we all dated him and we all fucked him already. And they're trying to pull this shit at the last minute, saying that, oh, what happened last year? I thought it was a tradition, bro. So the problem was these guys, these people who are nerds who watch anime don't understand how a nerd who watches anime can pull so many women, when I'm trying to tell you, like, I really had some competition back in the day when I stayed in episode 1. The reason why this is so fucking important is because those two people understand the common duality of being a real person, you know, a real social person who people respect, you know, because they work hard and they get results, you know. So the reason why this is such a great example of Dark Game Chapter 8 is these nerds are wondering, how do I get a girl? How do I get a girl? I want to be straightforward like this dude. I want to be able to grab a girl's ass. I want to be able to tell her, yo, suck my dick, and she actually does it. I want to be able to be straightforward just like him. So here's what happens. There was this time where, because I got away with Dark Game Chapter 4, was after that they always plotted and schemed to see if there was actually a way to take me down after all that shit. So what happened was I keep it cool and I actually start dating a little bit, you know. I start tampering with a little woman, and I start giving people examples of why I know how to do vice versa. I know how to keep a relationship. I also know how to make things escalate, you know. I know how to do it because, like I stated before, I'm already a father. This is nothing new to me. And these people who are nerds, you know, like, I'm trying to tell them, like, this isn't the way you do it, and this isn't something you should be praising me for. So it's basically like this. There was this one person who they sent out to see if I would fall for this trick, to see if I can get into a relationship. What happened is they felt like the idea had great potential, and that if I can make sexy cosplay shit consensual, and if I can do this professionally, I can make, you know, big bucks. But the problem with that is, what they're gonna try to butter me up like they did last time, saying it's cool, and then they're gonna try to flip it against me. And I'm like, no, I'm not gonna do that. But this person, I knew that was the thing, so they're all like, the funny thing is, the girl who led the second dude who I spoke of in this Dark Game book led this girl on, because they're all like, we're gonna establish a relationship with him, and so we can say that this is okay because he's my girlfriend, as the excuse. But the problem is, one of the strategies that the girl who led my other bruh on, my other dude, is maybe if I lure him in with maybe if I can get a group with this guy, if we can do a cosplay group, we can lure him in with what he's interested, because they know I'm not interested in them, so I'm interested in art. So what they do is they lead me on with art, saying that, yo, just take it slow. And I'm like, I don't want to be a couple, I want to do this art shit. So C sent her, and the current girl that's the hottest girl on the streets that everybody's talking about is my example of why being straightforward with women, saying that, hey, can I get in your pants, hey, can you suck my dick, and all that straightforward bullshit isn't gonna work, is because you're saying it out of your ass and you haven't earned it. And this girl was an example. This is a girl who I knew I could mac on, who I knew I could get, but I knew she was sent out to get me, but it doesn't matter. See, I had a fat ass, so I was just trying to, you know, keep it cool regardless, but it didn't even have a fact in the matter that when I kept on asking her, let's go with the collab, she kept on pushing me away. But I pulled back saying, okay, fuck you, I'm gonna leave. She's like, no, don't go. But the problem with that was I knew she was trying to set me up, but it's not working. It's like, okay, I'm like, the thing that's destroying this shit is she's catching feelings for me because me, they can smell it on me. And I just try again to get this collab done, and she kept pushing me away. So you know what happened is I told all these people who are wondering, oh, how could you be so perverted? How can they like such a perverted guy like you? I'm like, I used to be 100% perverted and it doesn't work. It's not me being perverted, we're all perverted, it's how I'm being perverted. I'm being real about how I'm being perverted, while you guys aren't being perverted in style. And I'm not talking about, oh, make her laugh and shit. I'm talking about actually connect with her on an emotional level. And that's what happened with this girl. It happens in an emotional level because I'm just that type of person. And I was already dating another girl while I was talking to this girl. So they started fighting over each other. And it was really a bad scene because while this is happening, everybody, including my best friend who gave me the best fight, got destroyed because I'm staying consistent with this shit. Because they talked shit about me saying that I couldn't pull a girl when I was in high school. I'm like, dude, I'm older now. I've learned a lot. It's really different. I've changed, you know. Yes, I fucked. I'm like, why? You haven't? And it's crazy because I'm like, yeah, it's cool. Like, can I get back to work now? It's really, really, really bad for them to jump to conclusions like, I don't know the difference between a girl that wants to fuck me and a girl who doesn't want to fuck me. You have to understand that. And how this story ended with this girl was, they're wondering, because I used to send, you know, messages to girls, you know, saying, ooh, I just want to get in that ass. And I was playing the numbers game really tough. I was playing the numbers game like, and some said yes and some said no. A bunch of times, over and over and over again, but I had to keep trying, and that was stressful instead of trying to strengthen one thing. But when I try to strengthen one thing, they try to manipulate me. I'm like, dude, that's basic a part of the game. You learn that when you're in junior high. It's not something you should be stressing over, okay? And I learned that the hard way. I'm trying to let you guys know, don't learn the way I did. Now, this is a girl, if I weren't paid my cards right, I could have easily made her another girlfriend. I could have done what they wanted me to do my way. So, and how this ended was, I had a jealous friend who blocked her on Instagram. I've had a side chick who blocks other side chicks on Instagram for me, but what happened was, my backup account, I followed her, and so you know what, I'm gonna show you why that doesn't work. I'm really going to show you why if you go up in a girl's DMs and say, yo, you have some fat ass titties, without giving any sign of personality, without showing any strategy, without even thinking twice about what the fuck's going on. She said no, but she didn't reject me, but she said no. I'm like, just suck my dick already, and she's like, no. This is so vital to the chapter because it teaches everyone. It teaches me especially. It helps me think, it helps me cope, and it really lets people know, like, yo, that's just a part of growing up. This is The Dark Game, Chapter 8.